Welcome to the ILAW 360 podcast. My name is Odam and today I'll be your host. We have the pleasure of having Mr. Peter Becker as our guest today. Good afternoon, Mr. Peter.
Good afternoon.
Before getting started, could you, for the audience, may you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Peter Becker. I'm from Germany. I'm a lawyer and a political scientist, and I also have studied economy, and in the meantime I'm retired, but during my professional career I have been many years abroad, among others in Cambodia, and I have worked for more than 2 years at the Senate as a legal advisor, and since then I return to Cambodia close to every year, and as I have a good relationship with the rector, I started here to teach different courses.
So let's move on to the first questions. What is your impression of Cambodia since the first time you've been here until now? So what's your impression of Cambodia?
Yeah, I entered Cambodia for the first time in 2008. Yeah, this is more than 15 years ago, and at this time there was still a lot of construction work in the city. Riverside was built, and the Canadian Bank was the only tower in the city. This was always my orientation point. There was not this skyline which you can see today, and it was still very chaotic. The tuk-tuk drivers and the motorbike drivers, they drove always on the wrong side of the road, and all these minivans, and on the top of the minivans there have been these young boys. They got a half of the price for a ride if they have taken seat on the top of the roof from the car. So it was very chaotic, but in a certain way it was also nice. I liked it, and since then things have changed a lot. Not only the skyline has changed, but also it's much more organized now. If you look on the traffic jam or on the traffic in general, there are now a lot of traffic lights, and people, the most of them at least, they still stop if the traffic light shows red, and so, or if you look on the waste management, everything is clean, and so it becomes much more organized. But this has also its downside, of course. So the old Phnom Penh, this vanished one by one. I'm pretty sure in some years you cannot distinguish whether you are in Jakarta or in Kuala Lumpur or in Phnom Penh. And for me, that's a little bit a sad story that that what makes or made Phnom Penh disappears more or less.
So that's one of the disadvantages of modernizing Phnom Penh.
Yeah, this old charm from the French times and so at Riverside, it's vanished. They built new hotels and new buildings everywhere, but Starbucks you have, or McDonald's you have also in Jakarta and in Kuala Lumpur. This does not make Phnom Penh.
Yes. So now let's move on to the legal topics. But the question is, what do you think of the international law program in here in National University of Management?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think we have to decide or to distinguish between the side of the students and the side of the university. For the students, according to my observations at least, it's very difficult to study law in Khmer, because you don't have a legal tradition in Cambodia, and therefore there is no literature, there are not many court decisions, there are no textbooks in Khmer. So if you want seriously to study law, you have to study this as an international language, in English or in French or maybe in German, but in Khmer this doesn't work. So there is a high need for this international law program for the students, I think. And the other side, if you look on the university, for the university, it's very interesting to have an international renommee, to attend or to participate in exchange programs. So it's not only that Cambodian students then go to Europe or to the United States or to Japan, it's also the way around. University must be interested to have students then here on the campus from abroad. And also, if you invite academics like me, I cannot teach in Becker. Sorry, nobody from Europe or from United States will now learn Khmer to stay here at the university. So you are forced more or less to have also international programs to get in touch with academics and students from abroad. But I think there is nothing bad with that. Look, in Germany, we have, or in Europe, we have about 120 million German speakers in Europe, all in all. And Germany has a long tradition in science and in law, and so. But the lingua franca in Germany, in the past, it was Latin language, and nowadays, all the people are also used, at least the academics are used to speak in English. So I think it's not a disadvantage when you now change in a certain way in teaching law to the English language.
Yes. So how can a younger generation, particularly those who aspire to be lawyers, can become a better lawyer in this day and age?
Yeah, to be a lawyer, you need, like in every profession, you need basically 4 types of skills. You need a professional skills, you need skills in regard to the methodology, you need social skills, and you need skills, this is more something overarching, I would say, making things happen. These are the 4 skills. And universities are used to prepare you now for 2 skills, professional skills and skills in regard to the methodology in this part of the science where you are taught. And this kind of skills are difficult to purchase in Cambodia at the moment if you look on the law sector. I have this mentioned already, you don't have a tradition in modern law. So usually people are used to solve their legal disputes by negotiation. And if you negotiate, you don't need precise law, and you don't need to really accurately apply these laws and so on. But this will change. Society in Cambodia becomes more and more complex, and therefore the legal system will also become more and more complex. And so in foreseeable future, you will need really also for the simpler things, you will need a modern legal system. And so therefore it's up to the younger generation to catch up with this. So a younger lawyer, he must have other capacities and skills than people who are in charge at the moment. That's the problem. And now to study law, this is a question of reading and writing. Law is a science where you have to read books and where you have to write papers. And Cambodia, unfortunately, is not a country very famous for reading and writing at the moment. So look in Germany, if you see the law students on the campus, everybody lucks around with the law compilations, with the textbooks and so on. Here at NUM, I never have seen this. People don't do this. So I think what you have to do if you want to become a good lawyer and catch up with this professional and methodical skills is you have to force you to read and write. Look, the Civil Code has more than 1,300 articles, or a decision of the Supreme Court from the United States or the Constitutional Court in Germany has more than 100 pages in many cases. You have to go through this stuff, and so you have to force you, to train you to work with complex texts. This is the one thing. And then the second thing, you have to work very precisely, very accurate. At least in civil law, every word of the law counts, and you have to turn it around twice and 3 times maybe, and ponder about what this means. So you have to work accurately. On the other side, of course, nothing is caved in stone. Society change, and so the rule change and the law change. So it's also very important that you are able to ask questions. Critical thinking is also something what you should train. You should not only follow what teachers or professors told you, you should make up your own mind, and you should train this, of course. And then one thing, this is also very important, you must be, if you want to become a good lawyer, you must be ambitious. Your job must be a certain passion for you, and earning money comes second. So if you want to make a research project, you should make this project for answering a certain question, and not because there are some donors who have a fun, and then Konrad Adenauer or USA, they pay you some money for the research. You should do this because the question you want to answer with this research paper is important. And then in this context, maybe the last thing what I can only recommend you is don't waste your time at social media. It's nice to have a Facebook account, and it's nice to have a lot of friends of Telegram, but don't spend half of the day with sending messages or with posting photos. Look in your books, read court decisions, make things like this. This is much more important and fruitful.
I cannot agree less with that answer. Me myself, I'm not a social person, so I don't really use social media as well. And that's actually helped me a lot to focus more on school, and especially my international law program.
On the serious things.
Yes. So following up on that questions, for the people who are interested in law degree, overall law degree, what should they prepare themselves for this major? For instance, I had the privilege to talk to you last time, and you have mentioned about writing. Like writing is very significant and very important. And could you elaborate more about that?
How to get here along, the first thing for you as a student is you have to get through the system. At the end, what counts is that you have your certificate. That's the most important thing. If you like the system or not is another question, but you have to go through this system. And so you have to follow, to learn this what your teachers and your professors ask you, and you make the tests and the exam as they ask you, and then you try to get, at the end, you get your certificate, your degree. This is the most important thing. But on the other side, you should use this opportunity here at the university also for networking. This is very important. I think to attend seminars or workshops or congresses, even if you think the topic might be perhaps boring, you should attend, because you always need many interesting people, and you can make them friends with experts, or you will find a mentor also. So try to do this. Try to connect you with other lawyers and other person in this area. And then, of course, what you should do is to build up your own reputation. At least in Germany, or in Western countries, you build up your reputation by publications, to write articles. And now you have this wonderful new instrument, the ILAW Gazette, specially made for students to publish research papers. And you should make use from this. This is very important. This is not so high hurdle now, this ILAW Gazette. You can publish this even if your topic is maybe not so comprehensive now also. And I have also offered all the students already, if somebody wants to write a research paper and he does not dare, please contact me. I will help you with the structure, or I will have a final look on this or something, review it. So this is something what you really should do, and in this way you can also train your analyzing and writing skills. And what is also very important is, of course, all these mode court exercise. This makes puts you in a position which you will have later as a lawyer too. If you have to present your case at the court, you are in a similar position as in the mode court. And then the last thing is, of course, overseas experience and language. If you have the opportunity, go for half a year or for a year abroad, or if not, then attend some workshops abroad. And also English is very good, but maybe you also can learn French or maybe German also. There in Germany we have a lot of literature from Kant over Hegel or Max Weber, what is interesting to read, and of course it's better you can read the original German text. And there is also a saying from Mr. Huntington. This is a very famous political scientist, or was a very famous political scientist, and he said, if you know only one system, you don't know any political system. And I can only agree with this. I was a long time a lawyer in Germany, and then I went abroad and I understood my own legal system only because I have worked abroad and learned how other people are doing this business.
So the next question is that what advantages do law degree have in the variety of career that they could pursue? So what job, what opportunity can they have?
Yeah, it's of course, as I mentioned, the university trains you now on professional skills and in regard to certain skills in methodology, and that's it. If you have a bachelor degree or a master degree from the university, you have to learn to swim, but you are not a good swimmer right now. So if you compare this to Germany, for example, people, law students, they attend 5 years at the university usually, and then they are about 3 years working as a junior lawyer at the court and the prosecutor's office and so on. And then on top, if they want to have a doctoral degree, it takes another 3 to 5 years. And even after this, you are a beginner. So if you want to become a good lawyer, attorney at law, it needs another 5 years experience. So a bachelor degree or a master degree and a university is a step in the right direction. But then the business starts to become a good lawyer or work in the law sector requires that you further try to train yourself, to make further experience and so on. So this is the first step, this is an important step, but this is only the starting point for your further career.
So now moving on to our last questions. This question is especially dedicated to the audience as well. So what advice would you give to young people in our young generation?
Yeah, there is one saying from Albert Einstein, and I believe this is for the younger generation, people like you, is very important. And Albert Einstein once said, "Never stop asking questions." And I think this is a very important wisdom. So what I can recommend you is remain curious.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Peter Becker, for your time and being on this podcast. Thank you.
It was an honor for me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.